I understand that you want to participate in a CVSA.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know what? I am going to grant your wish. On any medications?
Yes, sir.
What kind of medication?
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, is it you drinking that now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
That's fine. I take Libra for my stomach.
Any narcotics?
I think Adderall is considered.
Adderall, okay, that's fine. I'm not worried about
And
Adderall.
Temazepam?
Temazepam, okay. You got ADHD or something?
Yes, sir.
You do? Okay. Yeah. I take it you're here talking because you had a really bad night last night, to say the least. Let me see the back of your head. Okay, from here doesn't look too bad. I'm sure up underneath the bandages it doesn't look very good. Okay, like I said, I'm an investigator on Stanford. I am the CVSA operator. Matter of fact, I am the senior CVSA operator for the city of Stanford. I've been doing these for quite a long time. And do you know anything about a CVSA?
Yes, sir.
You ever taken one? Apparently not.
No. I'm sorry. I went to school for I just know computer stress analysis.
Voice stress analysis. Oh. So it's right there. See, we even put it right there for you so you can read it while I'm talking to you. Basically, you're right. It's a computer-aided truth verification system. I'm sure you know polygraphs, all that kind of good stuff. This is basically the latest and greatest in truth verification. Polygraphs are great. I think they are wonderful, but some of them have, everything has to take it someplace. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. First things first, let's get rid of the administrative stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I need you to do, I need you to read this. Okay, and I need you to fill in this, and if you agree with the terms, sign down there and date it. If you don't, say so, and then we'll talk.
Sorry, is it the 27th?
Today is 27th, you're correct. I think you've been put into a time warp.
Yes.
You understand it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Looks like you got banged up pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright. Back to this. Okay, the reason why we're here is yesterday you got into a situation, a very bad situation, and we are here to talk about that, okay?
Yes.
I will tell you up front, for me to be able to do this effectively, I know very little about what's going on in your case.
Okay.
I mean, very, very, very little. Okay, all I know is there was an incident last night. I probably know a little bit more than what the news says, but not a whole lot, okay? I know a little bit more now because the news, as far as I know, doesn't even know who you are yet.
Thankfully.
Thankfully, yes. So your first name is George?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your last name is Zimmerman?
Yes, sir.
I served on submarines with a Zimmerman.
I thought it was Army.
Actually, he was out of, I think, Alpaca.
No, he was Virginia.
Yeah. Dude, actually, what's your date of birth?
10/5/83.
Okay, the way this works is, like I told you, I know very little about you. I know very little about this case. My whole thing is what I'm going to do is you're going to tell me everything I need to know. We're going to go through this, and we're going to do it. Then me and you are going to develop questions. Okay. The way this instrument works is it's a computer. It's a Dell computer. You see, it's nothing more than a Dell top-book computer. All right. Nothing special about the computer. It's a computer. They read ones and zeros. That's it. Okay. What's special about it is the program. Okay. truth verification, which should be on the contact, right there. They're the proprietor of the operating system, or the program, the software. Okay, what that software does is it has the ability to read the tonals on your voice. Okay, there's different parts of the voice. Okay, you have the AM and FM. FM is what you hear. Okay, when we speak, you hear FM. The AM, for lack of a better term, they just name it AM. It has really no really functional naming of it. Just to make it easier for you to understand, or for people to understand. The AM rides on top of the FM. Okay, normal speech, your FM carries it. Okay, and pretty much overshadows it. When stress is involved, that FM diminishes, and what happens is the AM rides on top, and you can actually see it. Okay, you say, well, that's all fine and dandy. Well, how can you should be able to change it. But just like your breathing, okay, there's a part where you can breathe, and you can make yourself breathe. You can consciously breathe. And there's other times when you don't even think about it, you don't stop breathing. Right. You just keep on breathing. Right. Okay, that's controlled in your brainstem. Okay, and that's the same way your voice is. Okay, when you're not thinking about it, your voice is automatically regulated. But when you add stress to the factor that AM rides on top of the FM, and with the FM diminishing, and then you can see it. Okay, that's what we're looking for. You can't change it. You can't alter it. There's nothing you can do about it except it's there. Okay, and so that's what we're going to be looking for. So what we're not looking for is, I'm not really looking for you lying. Okay, what I'm looking for is your truthfulness and your level of stress.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that would be evident in the instrument when we roll the charts. Okay, it's not invasive. Okay, it's just a microphone that you put right here, and you talk. You don't have the bands around you and everything hooked up there, and blood pressure cuff and all this other crap all over you. That's all it is. Okay, it's nothing. It's very, very uninvasive.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with that in mind, what I need to do is drop you down to make sure that there's no residual stress in you. Okay, to get a good charts, I need to make sure that you're calm. Okay, all right. The events of last night. Okay, you being attacked, the guy getting shot. Okay, you being investigator Sereno and Sergeant Smith and everybody, all this attention and all this rigmarole. All right, you're stressed. Okay, now you're here at the station talking to us again. You're stressed. Okay, I understand that. My job is to bring you down to a level to where we sit here and talk. Okay, bring all this out on the table, and then develop these questions. Okay, there's going to be 9 questions, and we'll go over the questions before. You'll know them all before we start, and then we'll go over it, and then we'll take the exam. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Kind of make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right now, where would you say you're at as far as the stress level, from 1 to 10? 10 being the worst.
I don't know.
You don't know?
6, maybe 7.
Okay. Pretty high? Or
Yeah.
mediocre, because you're kind of getting
It's like it's in the back of my mind.
Right. Okay. You nervous about sitting here talking to me at the station?
Not necessarily.
No. You came here on your own free will, no
Yes,
doubt,
sir.
right? Okay. Investigator Sereno didn't say you're going to come down here or I'm going to dump you or anything like that?
No, sir.
I'm going to burn your eye out with a cigarette?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, he does that, so you got to be careful with that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start. Now, what I want to do is I want you, in your own words, I want you to give me the scenario from the start to finish. Okay? And I'm not going to interrupt you, I hope, for the most part. And then we're going to go back and we're going to dissect some stuff. Okay? Things that I think that I might have questions about. Okay? You see me writing, it doesn't mean anything. Okay? I might write just to write. Okay? Or it might be something that I want to ask you later. Okay? So if you see me sitting here jotting or something, don't take it into offense.
Sure.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
I have one question.
Okay.
I can't really breathe out of my nose, so I have to breathe out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay if I drink water during the
Your
test?
mouth, you can drink as much water as you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Get your nose broken? Start from the beginning. About what time yesterday?
About 7 p.m. I left my house to go to the grocery store, buy my groceries for the week.
What store did you go to?
Target. And I was leaving my neighborhood when I saw this guy walking slowly in front of a house, looking towards the house. And I knew he didn't live there, so it made me a little suspicious, and then he kept staring around him, at me, and behind, and it arose my suspicion. And then it was raining, and he didn't look like he was in a rush to get out of the rain. He didn't look like he was hardcore physical, like exercising, that he was, running in the rain. He just looked out of place from what they've taught us in the neighborhood watch. So I drove past him, and I went to the clubhouse, and I called the non-emergency line. As I was on the phone with the non-emergency line, he walked past my car, and I lost visual contact of him. The operator asked me if I could get to somewhere where I could see, or at least give him a direction of where he was headed. I said yes, so I pulled out and I drove adjacent to the clubhouse. And I was unfamiliar with the street name. The operator asked me what street I was on, and it's not the street that I live on. It's a side street that cuts through the neighborhood, and I told him I didn't know. And they said, we need to know. When I was at the clubhouse, I gave them the clubhouse address, and they're like, we need to know what house you're in front of. And I said, listen, if you come to the clubhouse, you can go straight and left, and you'll see me there. At this point, the guy walked around my car. He had his hand in his waistband. I didn't hear if he said anything. My windows were up, and it was raining, and I was on the phone with the non-emergency dispatcher. And then he disappeared back through a cut-through between the houses. While he was doing that, the operator asked me, they said, we need to know what exact address you're at. And all the houses I was next to was the back of the houses, and they're townhouses, so I didn't know the address. And they said, we need to know what street you're on or what address you're at. I think in the heat of the moment, I might have given them my street address. And they said, is that your home address or where you're at now? And I said, that's my home address. And I got out of my car to look for a street sign so that I could at least tell them what street I was on. And there was no street sign, and I couldn't make out the house in front of me because there was a big pickup truck there. So I knew if I saw him walk through the cut-through and then make a right behind other houses. I knew if I went straight and I didn't cut through where he went, that was the street that I lived on, Retreat View Circle. And I knew if I got to that street, I could tell them the exact house number and the street that I was at. So as I walked through, I looked to my right where he had gone through. The operator said, are you following him? And I said, yes. They said, we don't need you to do that. And I said, okay. And I walked through to the other end of the street to give him the address. And as I was doing that, I said, he's not here anymore, he's gone. And they said, you don't see him? And I said, no, he's gone. And they said, do you still want us, and by this time I'd gone to Retreat View Circle. And they said, do you still want us to send a police officer out? And I said, yes. And they said, well, where do you want the officer to meet you at? And I said, just tell them to go to the clubhouse, make a left. I didn't give them a description of my car. And I said, I'll meet them back at my car. So I walked through again, and as I was about halfway through, he appeared out of nowhere.
Were you still on the phone?
No, I hung up. They said, we have an officer en route. And I said, okay, thanks. after he asked me if I wanted an officer there. He said, we have an officer around. I told him to meet me in my car, and I hung up. And I put my phone away. And when I got about halfway to my car from the street, again, behind the houses in a dark area, I heard him say, you got a problem? And I turned around and I saw him, and I went to go for my phone and call 911 instead of non-emergency this time. But I guess I didn't have my phone in the pocket that I thought I had it in. I had it in my jacket pocket, and I reached for my pocket, and I was looking for my phone, and he just punched me in the nose. And I fell backwards to the side. Somehow I ended up on my back. He ended up on top of me, and he just kept punching my face and my head, and I was screaming for help. And he told me, shut the fuck up, and I kept yelling for help. And I got a little bit of leverage, and I started to sit up, and then he took my head and slammed it into the concrete several times, and each time I felt like my head was going to explode more than the last. I felt like I was going to lose consciousness, and I started screaming for help. And he covered my nose with one hand and my mouth with the other one, and he told me, shut the fuck up. And I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating. And all I could think about was I didn't want him to keep slamming my head on the concrete. So I kind of shifted and squirmed my way out, not out from under him, but like to where, because the concrete was it was a sidewalk, and it felt like he only had my head on maybe a quarter of the concrete, and I could shift my way out and get onto the grass, where if he was slamming my head, it would just hit the grass and not the concrete. But when I shifted, my jacket came up and my shirt came up and exposed my firearm. And that's when he sat up and looked and said, you're gonna die tonight, motherfucker. And I felt him take one hand off my mouth and slide it down my chest. And I just pinched his arm, and I grabbed my gun and I aimed it at him and fired one shot. He kind of sat back and said, you got me, or you got me, you got it, something like that. And I thought he was saying that he heard the shot and that he was giving up. So I pushed him off me, and I don't remember if I pushed him off me or I pushed him back. Either way, I ended up on top of him, straddling him. He was up face down. And when he was hitting me in the face and the head, it felt like he was hitting me with something in his hands. So I thought he had a weapon, and I grabbed his hands and pushed them away from his body. And I said, stop. I said, stop, just don't move. And he was saying something like and cursing. I said, stop, don't move. And then somebody came, and they had a flashlight, and I thought it was a cop, and I said, I still had my gun in my hand as I was holding his hand out. And I said, are you a cop? And he said, no. And he said, I'll call them. And I said, I don't need you to call them. I already called them. They're on their way. I need you to help me restrain this guy. And he said, I'm calling the police. I'm already on the phone with them. And I got up off of him because he stopped struggling. And I thought he just stopped struggling. And then I holstered my weapon. I saw another flashlight, and I said, are you the police? Because I had blood all over my face and my eyes, and the flashlight, it was dark where I was, so the flashlight was really bright. And I said, are you the police? And he said, who shot him? And I said, I did. And I put my hands above my head like that, and I don't remember if he told me to turn my back to him and walk back towards him, but I turned my back to him, and I said, I did. And I raised my jacket, and I said, my gun's right there. I think I told him a few times, my gun's right there. It's It's right there. And he said, I know where it is. Just keep your hands on your head. Don't move. I said, can you just take my gun? And he said, I'm taking care of it. Just don't move. So I stopped. He handcuffed me. He took my hands down and handcuffed me. Oh, that's when he brought my hands down. I said, my gun's right there on my right side. Because I didn't want him to think that, I was going to grab for it or something. So he put my hands behind my back, handcuffed me, and then he took my gun. And I think it was the same officer that took me to his car. And paramedics got there. They went to check on him first, and then they came over and poured peroxide on my head, on the back of my head, felt my nose, and they told, I don't remember if it was a police officer or another EMS guy, they said his nose is broken and he's going to need 1, probably 2 stitches on the back of his head. And they said, well, we're going to take him down for questioning. And somebody said, should we take him to questioning or CFR first? And they said, no, we'll take him to the station first. And I didn't realize at the time CFR was Central Florida Regional, the hospital, and I just got back in the back of the car and they brought me here.
Okay. Alright, so that was it. Were you on the phone at the time when he was beating you?
No.
Okay, so there was no communication between you and the call center at that point in time?
No. I'm sorry. There was a guy that I couldn't really see because, like I said, there was blood in my eyes, and I saw somebody looking out through the sliding glass door, and I said, help me, help me. And I think he said, I'm calling 911. But the guy was beating me in the head and the face, but he might have been on the phone. So
there's a possible bystander there?
Yes.
Okay.
He might have been on the phone with 911, I don't know. But I was not communicating with the police at that time.
Okay, after he disappeared in through the cut-through, okay, he turned to the right, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At that time, you hung up, right around that time, you hung up with dispatch?
Shortly after, yes, sir.
Yeah. And then you were walking there, and you're walking back through, but you walked through where he disappeared, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next thing you know, he comes out of nowhere.
Yes, sir.
He says, you got a problem?
Yes, sir.
Or something along that line? Okay. At that point, you went for your phone?
Yes, sir.
And he punched you in the face?
I answered him. I said, no, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
And that's when I went for my phone and he punched me in the face.
And then you guys exchanged some punches?
I didn't hit him at all. I mean, I was trying to defend myself, but every time he punched me in the nose, it felt like my head was going to explode.
Okay. Was it at that time you pulled out your gun?
No.
No. At any time prior to, did you pull out your gun?
No.
Okay. So this possible bystander that you told to call 911 or help, he should be able to tell us that your gun was still in your holster?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or didn't see the gun?
Correct.
Okay. Because if it's in your holster, you probably wouldn't see it.
No, sir. I mean, as we were wrestling, like I said, my jacket came up.
I understand that. But if he was to look out and look at you, you wouldn't have been in your hand or anything like that. Okay. And you don't know this guy?
No.
Okay. Other than, why'd you try to maintain such close proximity to him?
To tell the police what direction he was headed in.
Did you feel that you put yourself in danger?
No, because where I was parked, my headlights were illuminating, and I saw him turn down and by the time I was on the phone with the non-emergency, by the time I got to where he was at, I felt like he had already made his way. I've called non-emergency probably a dozen times, and these guys are known just to run. As soon as they get suspicious, they run, and they know the neighborhood back and forth, and they just disappear in between houses within seconds. So I kind of walked, and I looked around the corner, and he was gone. So that's why I told him non-emergency. He's gone.
What was this guy wearing?
Gray hoodie, and I don't remember if they were gray pants or like stonewashed denim pants, I think.
Denim pants?
Pardon?
Denim pants?
No, like denim, but like stonewashed. I think they were light colored. They might have been jeans.
Okay. And he was a black man?
Yes, sir.
About how tall?
I'm 5'8", 9". He was 5'11", I'd say. To 6 foot.
Okay. When you're laying on the ground, you're laying on your back, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's when your jacket came up and he saw your gun, right?
Yes, sir.
Your gun on your left side, right side?
My right side.
Okay, so your gun's on your right side. Where were your hands at?
Trying to keep his hands away.
And then what did you feel next?
His hand slid down my chest. He had one hand on my mouth and one hand on my nose, and he took one off, and that's when he said, "You're gonna die, motherfucker." And I felt his hand going down the side of my chest, and to be honest,
you felt something like this?
Yeah, brushing. And to be honest with you, the whole time I forgot that I had the gun. When he said that I was gonna die, and then I felt him brushing, it automatically clicked that he was going for my gun.
So your hands are up here defending yourself. His hand's going down.
Yes, sir.
Were both your hands on the weapon?
No, sir.
Okay. Where was his hand when you went to retrieve the weapon?
One hand was going towards the gun. He took it off my mouth.
Right.
And I was trying to get his hand. He was suffocating me, so I was trying to get his hands off of my face. So when I felt his hand, he let go of my mouth, so I wasn't trying to do anything again with my right hand. So I grabbed my gun, and I don't know if he did it at the same time or what the case was, but I got to it first.
Okay. And then how did you come to fire upon him from that position? Because you're laying down like this, okay, on your back, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you just bring it out of the holster and straight up like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You didn't like try to push it into him or anything? You just fired it from almost like from the hip?
I think I made sure that it wasn't, because my hand was in the way, I made sure it was past my hand, because his other hand was still on my face.
Okay.
So I made sure it was
he that far away, or was he right up on top of you?
No. He was like putting all his weight on my nose and my mouth, trying to suffocate me. So he was like creating a crevice with his body, and then he when he slid to go for my gun.
Did he go for your gun with his left hand or your right hand?
I don't recall. Okay. Which hand he used.
But one of the hands went?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The one that was on your mouth?
That's when it clicked that I had my gun, and when he said...
But the hand that was on your mouth, he went to your
Yes,
gun?
sir.
Okay. Wait, then you got it, and you went out like this?
I think I went far enough to where I could make sure that it was past my other hand and in his general area.
From what you're describing to me, he's not that far away from you.
No, he's on me.
He's on top of you.
Yes, sir.
Right, so there's not a whole lot of distance in between you and him.
Right.
So you can't really extend your arm.
Correct.
Because then you got a gun sticking out. What kind of gun is it?
Keltec 9mm.
Keltec 9?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's probably only about that long, right?
Shorter.
It's a little tiny gun.
Yes, sir.
But still, I mean, you don't have hardly any play before that gun's directly into his chest.
Correct. I was on him. I knew I was.
And as soon as the round went off, he stopped attacking you?
He sat back and he said, "You got me," or "You got it," whatever.
Okay. sure it all happened just that quick, too.
It felt like an eternity when I was yelling for help.
Sorry about that. Kids' school. They always call it. Okay.
And I thought the police were there. They were going to be there. So it felt like it took forever.
Yeah. That part does go forever. I've been there before. Not in the situation you've had, but it seems like it takes forever for somebody to get there when you really want them. When in reality it's only probably a couple minutes. Okay. I'm going to step out for a minute.
Yes, sir.
When I come back, we're going to start developing questions. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You need to use the restroom or anything?
If I could just get more water.
You need more water? Sure.
It's from the restroom.
Yeah. You can. Good. Get some restroom.
Oh,
Okay, have a seat.
thank you, sir.
Turn that loud. Okay. Set this up. So you feel a little bit more relaxed with me?
Yes, sir.
I'm not very... Not very intimidating to begin with, but you know what I mean?
Everybody's intimidating at this point.
Everybody's intimidating. Okay.
I think you're the sergeant went to the class, or the supervisor, the guy you said supervisor.
Yeah.
So you know they're not mine.
Alright, I'll take him. There's somebody's. I forgot to ask them. Where did the pizza was? Oh, jeez. Get off the phone.
Oh, my employer asked for the case number too.
Why? They have no business to it.
I guess they wanted to see if I was a criminal or something.
Yeah, what was the last 4 of your case number? Hello? Oh, all right. I'm back in here again. I just came out to talk. Good for you there, Chris.
Now that I think about it, they're probably just being nosy. But they seemed to, it was HR, they asked,
It's up to you, man.
they asked for the police report, and I said, from what it sounded like, there wasn't going to be a report for a while. And they said,
Well, number one, we're not going to give anybody a copy of the report for a while because homicide investigations are not released until they're complete. Okay. Tired.
I hear ya.
Okay, here we go. Oh, you say the walls out.
Cream?
Okay. Remember that. We agree that they're green. Okay?
Yes, sir.
it seems like the major issue here, or what we're basically looking for in the scheme of things, is we're looking for your truthfulness as far as was the confrontation against you and not a mutual confrontation. And I guess the other point would you be in fear for your life? Yes. Okay. So with those two in mind, I'm going to develop these questions. And what do you call this guy? You call him the kid? You call him...
The guy.
The guy? Okay. This is what we're going to do. All right, I told you there's going to be 9 questions.
Yes.
Didn't lie to you. There's going to be 9 questions, okay? We got 3 types of questions. All right, we have irrelevant questions, which are everyday questions that should impose no stress, okay? They're very benign. Is your name George? Is today Monday? Is this the month of February? Are we in the city of Sanford? Am I wearing a watch? Okay? Very benign questions. Should not elicit any stress whatsoever. Okay? You don't have to lie. They're going to be yes or no questions. Okay? Then we have control questions. Okay? Control questions are there for a very specific purpose. Okay? They're there to see what you look like when you do lie. Okay? So I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and I want you to purposely lie to me. All right? Those questions are, is the color of the wall green? And you're going to say, you're going to lie to me.
No.
Right, you're going to say no. Okay, so I want you to remember that. Is the color of the wall green?
No.
Okay. The other one is, I'm going to preface it with, you were driving last night on your way to the store, correct? Which you never made, right?
Yes.
Okay. So therefore I know you drive, you have a driver's license. Okay. At some point in time in your life, I'm sure you've been stopped by the police for speeding.
Yes.
Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to remember that situation when you were driving and then you first figured out that you were getting pulled over by the police, or you first saw that cop, that feeling you got inside you, that oh shit feeling, your nerves went through the roof, your palms got sweaty, your throat got tight, okay, your heart started pounding, okay, you started breathing heavy, you got real nervous. Okay, remember that? The way you felt? I want you to remember that when I ask you this question. Have you ever driven over the posted speed limit? And you're going to tell me?
Yes.
No, you're going to tell me
no.
No. Okay? You're going to lie to me again. 2 questions, you're going to lie to me.
Okay.
All right? Is the color of the walls green?
No.
Okay. Have you ever driven over the posted speed limit?
No.
Okay. Very good. Remember this. Okay?
Okay.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're going to ask you this. Okay? These are the relevant questions. These are the questions I want to know whether you're telling me the truth or not on, okay? Were you in fear for your life when you shot the guy?
Yes.
Okay, since you don't know this guy's name, and you call him the guy, then I'll call him the guy. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other one is, did you confront the guy you shot?
No.
Okay. So both those. That one would be a no. The other one's going to be a yes. Correct? Okay. Make sure I got it right. All right. That's it. That's all 9 questions. Not bad?
No.
Okay. All right, what I want you to do, is that your umbrella?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to take that chair,
Yes, sir.
turn it facing that wall, and have a seat. Place this right here on your shirt, okay? And once you relax, I want you to sit with both feet on the floor, sit straight up, okay? I'm not gonna let you drink at this point for right now, okay, but this is relatively quick. Okay, you just went out and got something to drink.
Yes.
Did you go pee?
Yes.
Okay, so you're good, you're all relieved?
Yes.
Okay. Your stress level should be lower. Okay, I'm gonna ask you the series of 9 questions. Remember the control questions?
Yes, sir.
Alright, what are they?
The walls green, and did I ever drive over the posted speed limit?
And your response to both of those is gonna be?
No.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, when I ask you all the questions, I want you to respond in a yes or no answer. Not yes sir, not no sir, don't add anything else to it, just yes. Just a simple yes. Okay, just like you've been talking to me this whole time. Okay? Don't try to modulate your voice, it's not going to work. Okay? If you try to modulate it or make it different, I'll be able to see it, and then we'll just have to probably redo it. Okay? You're not going to skew the results. Okay? It's going to, remember I told you can't do it, so don't even try. That's pretty much about it. If I ask you the same question twice, it's not that I didn't believe you. It's that something went wrong. Either I didn't hit the space bar on time, you answered too quickly, okay? Something went awry, and then we got to redo it, okay?
Yes, sir.
So don't read into it and get all nervous on me, all right?
Yes, sir.
Alright, first what we're going to do is we're going to calibrate the machine. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to put on auto-calibrate. And we'll see how it looks. Okay, I want you to give me a yes.
Yes.
Give me a no.
No.
A yes.
Yes.
A no.
No.
A yes.
Yes.
A no.
No.
Another no.
No.
And one more.
No.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Is your name George?
Yes.
Is your name George?
Yes.
Is the color of the walls green?
No.
Is today Monday?
Yes.
Did you confront the guy you shot?
No.
Is this the month of February?
Yes.
Were you in fear for your life
Yes.
when you shot the... Hold on. Let me finish the question. Were you in fear for your life when you shot the guy?
Yes.
Are we in the city of Sanford?
Yes.
Have you ever driven up the posted speed limit?
No.
Am I wearing a watch?
No.
Am I wearing a watch?
No.
Okay. That was 9 questions. Wasn't too bad, was it?
No.
Did it shock you every time you said something wrong?
No.
Okay. Was there anything that got you?
No, sir.
Okay. You can kind of turn it.
I was-
We're not done yet. Go ahead, take a drink of water.
Oh, I wasn't sure about the watch question. I didn't know if that was one I was supposed to...
Remember, I don't have a watch.
Mm.
Okay. I sense your hesitation. Also, like I told you, don't draw out your nose. Okay? This is straight no.
Oh, right.
Not no. It seems like you were uncertain on a couple questions. Just remember, yes or no. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. That was a practice chart. What it is what we do is we always do that second chart. The reason why is, remember I told you stress?
Yes.
Stress is a big deal.
Yes.
Well, what we do is it's situational stress. Okay? Just you being hooked up to the instrument, me reading into your soul, is causing stress on you, okay? And it shows up on the charts. So what we do is we run you through the questions, okay? It's going to be the same questions again, and that's about it, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to run it one more time. Remember the control questions, which are?
Are the walls green? And have you ever driven over the speed?
Okay. Am I wearing a watch?
No.
Okay. Wait for me to finish asking the question completely, okay?
Okay.
All right. You'll be all right. Is your name George?
Yes.
Wait for me to finish asking the question, please. Is your name George?
Yes.
Is the colors of the wall green?
No.
Is today Monday?
Yes.
Did you confront the guy you shot?
No.
Is this the month of February?
Yes.
Is this the month of February?
Yes.
Were you in fear for your life when you shot the guy?
Yes.
Are we in the city of Sanford?
Yes.
Have you ever driven over the posted speed limit?
No.
Am I wearing a watch?
No.
Okay, we're all done. You take that off and you return to your seat over here. Perfect timing. This is your last episode?
Probably 3 notes, maybe.
Yeah. What about this? You say they're in here.
They aren't mine.
There you
Probably 3 notes. No, they aren't mine.
Okay.
You can go over anything with him?
Nope. I am done.
Huh?
I am done with him.
Wonderful. All right. We are heading back to his house then.
Okay.
They're already out, Christian. I sent those 2 out to start canvassing the neighborhood again, see if we got anybody to see anything and do anything.
George, pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you, as well.
Hopefully I never see you again.
Also,
That's always a good thing from a police officer.
yes, sir.